Hi Hannah, I hope you're doing well. So today we're going to talk about a few new techniques. And the first part of this new technique is going to be applying a pick. I know we've been playing a lot with our fingers, but we're going to look at some different songs in the next couple of weeks here that are really more pertaining to a guitar style playing on the bass. And we're going to be using a pick. So definitely find a guitar pick, hopefully something a little bit thicker so it can really handle these thicker bass strings. And then we're going to talk about chording a little bit. Talked about chording before, but we're going to simplify it a little bit for now. So the main parts that you got to kind of look at here with chording, you got to remember everything kind of transfers over from the guitar that you've learned pretty smoothly onto the bass. So when we're talking about chords, the first chords that come to mind on the bass are power chords. And I know you know power chords from when you played guitar. I remember you using them in songs like American Idiot way back in the day doing that band stuff, okay? So power chords are still applicable on the bass. So for instance, if we wanted to make an A power chord, we could come to the 5th fret of the E string with our first finger, and either with our pinky or our ring finger, whatever's more comfortable, hitting the 7th fret of the A. Now typically something that I do when I make a power chord on the bass is I use my first finger here to really bar the rest of the strings, but not to bar to play them, not like that, but I'm only pressing on the first one, and then the rest of them are just barely being touched by it. And that provides a mute as I move down those strings. You can't really hear them, right? So this way, I can kind of do some whole strumming on it, okay? So, like I said, A chord right here on the 5 of the E and 7 of the A, okay? A right there. We can make a G chord by doing the exact same thing, a G power chord, by going down to the 3rd fret on the E and 5th fret on the A. Likewise, we can move this whole power chord thing around. We can put it on the 5th fret of the A and 7th fret of the D to get a D chord. Likewise, if we scoot that back to the 3rd fret, we can get a C coming out of that. So, something to remember is that the power chords that we've learned were kind of shortened versions for other chords. We kind of make these extended bar chords, or extended power chords, but they're kind of like half bar chords. So the way we can look at them is now instead of just playing it with the 2 strings, we can add a 3rd in. So on our A, all we got to do is shift that pinky down to the D, add the ring finger back where that pinky was, and have our root note there. Okay, so A, you can make it down to a G, come up to the D and do the same thing as well, and go down to the C. Excellent. So the idea here, we can apply some of the chordage that we learned on the guitar to the bass. Now, not all of them are going to sound as good. Once we start looking at bar chords, it is totally possible to make them on the bass. And they get a little bit complex. So remember the bar chord aspect here. Now, if we want a major bar chord, that's what we're going to kind of decipher with these bar chords, is a major or minor chord. And we can just add the middle finger at the bottom. So the shape we have there looks like this. Right, major chord. And then if we wanted to, we could pick up the middle finger and the bar would be catching that note right there for a minor chord. A major, A minor. Let's take a look at G now. G major, G minor. Now we can't really do a major or minor, so to speak, out of this shape down here. We're kind of limited, we run out of string space. There is other ways to make these. We'll talk about those next week when we're in person together. But now what I want to shift focus on, because we're going to be learning a song that incorporates a little bit of the pick playing and a little bit of those power chords. And the song that we're going to be learning is called Ace of Spades. This is by Motorhead. Lemmy Kilmister is the bass player and singer for Motorhead. If you're not familiar with the song, if you're not familiar with them, definitely check them out. As a bass player, Lemmy was probably one of the most revered and legendary guys out there. Much more from his bass playing. He was known as a crazy, crazy fella. But a very renowned bass player who kind of took playing bass to a whole new level, especially with the pick. He played it more like a guitar than a bass. And what I mean by that is he typically threw in a lot of distortion to his bass. He used a Marshall, I believe it was a 2x12, meaning there's 12 speakers in it. And, a 6x12. And these were really, really big amps. Really loud, and like I said, pumped a lot of distortion through them. So we're going to talk about the song Ace of Spades. You probably have heard it once before, but it's going to really utilize our picking and a little bit of the chording here. So the song's going to start off with the riff coming in really distorted. I'm not going to play it distorted for now, but you're going to come to the 7th fret. And the song is originally in a dropped tuning, but I'm going to send you a YouTube link to one that's in standard so we can use the tabs just normally. So we're starting here on the 7th fret. And as we get going, it's down, okay? So this riff, it's not really a riff, it's kind of just like we're really hammering hard on this E note right here on the 7th fret. And we're alternating that with a 1 stop on the D on the 5th fret. So it's E, 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 D, E, 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 D. But notice the other side here, the picking side, gets a little bit intense. So let's take a look nice and slow. Okay, so that's what it sounds like, nice and slow. But again, the song's very fast, going to speed it up. So that's the main part of the riff, okay? That's kind of like the verse while he's singing his parts, okay? Then we're going to segue into some weirder stuff when we get into the verses here, all right? So the first verse, obviously he's going to keep hounding that 7th fret for our E note, okay? So okay, and then from here we're going to go to our first power chord, and that's in the second verse, or in the first verse, I'm sorry, and we're going to go to the 5-7 on the D string and the G string, okay, just like that. And you can play it the same way, but it almost sounds like the guitar takes over and he just kind of does bow, 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 bow. You can kind of let it ring because there's a guitar that's playing over top of it, right? So and then now we're going back to that 7. Okay? And then the second part of the verses, okay, he's going to be playing that extended kind of power chord that we're talking about before. And he's going to go play a D chord. Okay? So it's 5-7-7. Okay? The only chord I need, and then down to the 3-5-5. Okay, so again, D, and then back into your bam 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 bam. Okay, so let's take a quick little listen as to how this is going to sound together here. Again, I'm going to send you a link to this in standard tuning so you can play along with it. But let's take a listen. 1, 2. Okay, so here's our first high note. Now your D. Back to E. B, C, E. Okay? This song is going to be hard. It's going to be very fast. Very important for you to take your time, but really want you to develop out playing with that pick there. All right? That is all for this week. We'll talk more about the song next week when I have you in the lesson online. All right. Good job, Hannah, and I'll see you next time.